Yeah, thank you all for coming. My name is Irina, and I'm working at TypeFox, where together with my colleagues, we help our clients to build their own languages. So, and for the case, if you want to have your own language and don't know what to do, we together find out how to live with it. So, what to do if you want to create your own language, and for what you can want to create your own language. So first of all, it's to automate solutions of a domain-specific problem. For example, you want to manage data in your relational database. So, and for that we have one of domain-specific languages is SQL. Or you want to make matrix programming, so you can do it with MATLAB. Maybe, okay, definitely, I think that many people live in Java technology stack, so you did multi-project builds with Gradle. Or you wrote your status in your university using LaTeX. All these languages that are domain-specific, that solve domain-specific problems. And when you have own domain-specific problem, you want to create your own language. So what to do, how to implement your own language? So first of all, you want to implement all language features for your language. So it includes parsing, validation, linking, scoping, interpreting, and many other language features. Another group of features is IDE features. So when you have your own language, you want that it would be comfortable to develop something using your language. And as a result, you want all these guys like highlighting, super features from all of these, like find referencing, go to definition, renaming, code completion, and hovering, and everything else, that it would be really pleasant to develop programs in your domain-specific language. Okay, and it looks like already pretty much things that you need to do. And just imagine that you need to do it manually using your favorite programming language. Looks like a bit sad. And pretty much similar codes that can be done for different DSLs. And here, Langium can help. So during this presentation, we are speaking about different things. So first of all, we are speaking what Langium is, which goals have Langium, its features, how to run Langium in the web. So, and finally, take a look at some demo. So, first our topic is what is Langium. So, it's language engineering framework. So, that is something would help you to build a language. It's a spiritual successor to Xtext. So, it's TypeScript and not JS technology stack. It's powered by Charette and very fast parser in web technology world. And finally, it provides high out-of-box functionality. So how everything is working? You implement grammar of your language, and then Langium provides you all feature services, some default implementation. So it's parsing, some scoping, fine referencing, and many other services, such way that everything is working already only using your grammar. So you have code snippets in your language, use all these feature services that are already with you, thanks to Langium, and then you get IDE support with all its highlighting and everything, whatever you want. So now the question, what are goals of Langium and why it exists? So one of the main goals of Langium is to be simple. So that you have low barrier to entry. You just have a concept, and then you almost immediately already have a language. So, and everything what you need to do to have already at least something is just implement your grammar. And grammar is also pretty simple. So if you're familiar with Xtext, grammar of Langium is Xtext, but with some extra constructions. But you already know how to write in Langium grammar if you know Xtext. Otherwise, if you're familiar with Bacchus normal form, you also already understand it's pretty intuitive how to write grammar in Langium. So besides that, Langium stays close to TypeScript. So everything what is generated, all the services, are in TypeScript. Finally, it's quick to get language working. So concept, language. Another thing about Langium is that it's lean by default. So default feature services already exist for you. You need to implement grammar if you want custom validations, and if you want generation from your DSL to some other language that already able to make some evaluation. So, and everything is working pretty fast. So, besides that, of course, you can want to have default, not default feature services, but customize it somehow. So, and Langium is very simple to customize its services. So, you can implement all services by yourself, how you want. So it can be custom scope provider, token builder, find referencing, whatever you want. So, and you get not only very brief, very fast your language, but also able to customize it on very high level. So, and now features of Langium. One of the main and one of the most interesting features is cross-references. So, how you know from your favorite IDE, you have many different things that you use in your IDE that want to do something with referencing. So you like to use go-to definition, I'm sure. You like to use renaming, of course, when you think a long time about how to call my variable, maybe this, maybe that, maybe another way. So, and this feature like symbol renaming is very helpful. Here Langium also helps. You don't need to implement services, if you don't want, of course, for referencing by yourself. Langium generates such default implementation using some special grammar syntax. So you can see here square braces. And this is exactly syntax for cross-references. Let's take a look in more detailed in this code snippet for grammar. Here you have two parser rules written in Langium. And first parser rule is parameter that expects just some identifier that it collects. And second parser rule called reference, and it expects not some identifier in the space, but some concrete name of some previously defined parameter. So it's reference to other defined parameter. And another code snippet code in your language. This is how it can look like. And this code snippet, you have a function. Yeah, we want to have function in our language. That's called square. And it takes 3 parameters. One of these parameters is scale. And this is exactly parameter. This is, guys, it will be parsed by parser rule parameter. These guys are references. So here you can see that you call other functions that called move with this parameter. So this is references. Okay, and using this wonderful mechanism, Langium is able to generate all necessary services that are related to references. Okay, next interesting feature of Langium is semantic model. So this situation, Langium parses your code snippet, and you have abstract syntax tree, but it has no types at all. It's just tree of objects. So this object contains all necessary information about your initial source code, but it has no types at all. And here, semantic model can help. So it's something what is generated by Langium. And this is basically applies types to this tree of objects. So, and this is how you can see happen for already familiar for you rules parameter and reference. So, by the way, here you can see also how cross-reference influence on types. So let's take a look in parameter. We get interface with one property that's called name. And for reference, we also get interface with properties that's called value and has some special type reference. So it wraps our parameter. Okay, why it's nice? Okay, we find out that we give types to our abstract syntax tree. So now we have real abstract syntax tree with all necessary types, and it's so wonderful. It's very nice when you want to navigate your abstract syntax tree. and it's necessary when you want to customize your feature services. So yeah, you want to traverse somehow your abstract syntax tree. And using these types, you can do it type safe. Yeah. So next feature of Langium, it's workspace management. So sometimes your language can be already a bit big, or you want to split it in some files because you want have a very nice system how everything is working and make some nice models. So it's also very nice. Yeah, my respect to people who like order. So, and in this case, you want to have some Langium some files that describe your language. And workspace management here is very, very, very important. So imagine that you open one file and edit something inside, and other files that relate or linked with this file, that import this file or use some references, become outdated. So it's very sad, yeah? So imagine that you need to manually review all other files that, reference to your initial file. So it's very uncomfortable, and here Langium also can help. So here you have Workspace Manager that looks and all changes in your files and immediately invalidate all other files that relate to your initial file, and notify you if something goes wrong, if you change break some things in another files. So and it's done by the synchronization done by some heuristics, and so you don't need to suffer about it. Another Langium feature is language server protocol support. So very cool thing that allows you to use your language server everywhere, whatever you want. Yeah. So it can be VS Code, say, NeoVim, and any other guys that support language server protocol. So you also can build VS Code extension. And this way you can easily to get desktop IDE with VS Code or cloud IDE with Thea. And just imagine you write grammar and have already cloud IDE for your language. So for me, it looks like magic. So another thing that you get is also diagnostics. So if you have some validation and you understood that something goes wrong in your language, you immediately have all information and can drag somehow about it. And finally, code actions. You are able to edit your file just by one clicking. So very common use case for code actions is coupled with validations. So for example, you find out that you don't want that some functions in your language would have the same names. So that all names in your language would start with capital letter. Okay, it's a better example. So, and in this case, you can bind some code action to your validation in such way that clicking only one button would update name of your entity, that it would start with capital letter. And code actions, it's pretty powerful mechanism. You can even completely rewrite your file, so cool thing. Next things that we need to discuss is running Langium in the web. So this talk is about something about web, and we have to discuss this topic too. So Langium provides two architectures to use it in the web. So one of them is front-end, back-end architecture. So your client editor is front-end, and language server that is generated by Langium is on the side of back-end. So it's very similar to desktop environment. It has two parts. But like some other property of this architecture, it's limited by server. So if connection will be lost, you don't have all the functionalities that you have. Also, you can have workspaces, multiple documents. So and as consequence, it's very good for desktop and cloud IDEs. So when you have multiple workspace and have access to file system. Another architecture is browser-only architecture. In this case, you have editor and language server that runs in web worker. and everything working in the browser, and it's very nice, yeah, because it's in some sense more stable. And yeah, but properties, it can work only with one single document. Theoretically, you can pull some other documents, but you need to use more interesting mechanisms. So basically, it has no direct access to the file system. And actually, it's good for all Node IDE solutions. So when you want, for example, Playground for your website, so it's a perfect solution. Yeah, so demo. In this demo, I will show how to implement mini logo. It's some languages that allow you to draw by points. Very, very nice thing. So, and during this demo, we look at the grammar of mini logo, look how mini logo program example look like. So, take a look how to write validation, and finally try to make some code generation. So, on the left side, you can see mini logo example program. And yeah, this function square. So it takes 3 parameters and move your pen such way that you get some squares. Surprise. And yeah, below you have calling of this function. Yeah, can move your pen. And finally, you even can move your pen in real time. Yeah, and on the right side, you can see more strict grammar definition. So for those who are interested, yeah, I wait a bit. OK, it's enough. And now we can take a look at demo. I believe that you have enough time to take a look. So yeah, here is core code for a mini logo Langium implementation. Yeah, if you want to try. Yeah, so I start my demo. So on left side, you can see how a Langium language looks like. Yeah, so it's again this parser rules and everything, and you can see that it has extension Langium. And our top yeah, meaningful thing is keyword grammar. So this is how you say how your grammar called. Then you have parser rules that calls somehow, and it has also keyword entry. So it's first parser rule that starts parsing of your code. So, and here we can see that yeah, we have parser rule model. It represents your program in mini logo. So, and it can be or many statements. So you call some guys and have some interactions, or you have definitions. So it's some functions that you define something how to draw it. So yeah. From other interesting things, yeah, my reference to BNF. So you can see here rule calls, and we have, you can have alternatives. Yeah, you can have here this optionality. Yeah, you can have star operator. Yeah, also you can have here assignments. Yeah, for the case if you want to keep some information. So it's important for our semantic model. Yeah, all information that you want to operate, you want to keep in some assignment. So this is why you don't keep keywords mostly. Yeah, you're not important about keywords. Yeah, and suppose that in this moment we brought all our mini logo grammar. So it's working. And let's take a look how it's working. So I already started here our language server. So I made run extension. And it's here. And you can see here this example again with square. So yeah, we draw a square and call this function and then draw other squares. So everything is working. And you can see this highlighting. You can see here referencing. We can try to rename something. OK. Yeah, why not? Hey, I did it not correctly. Element can be renamed. OK. OK, let's continue with another things. So, OK, just believe me, renaming is working. Yeah. So for the case, if you have validation, you want to validate what you can want to validate in your mini logo example. So we have some functions that draw some concrete pieces. For example, you want to draw some squares, and you don't want to have some functions that draw squares. So maybe you want to call them somehow different ways. And for that, you define some validation here that actually catches your program and mini logo, and then call definitions. And it's filter or notify you if something goes wrong. So let's try to make it working. So I try to define another square, and it has to give us some problem. Yeah, OK, we got an error. Something is working, yay. So we got this error thanks to our custom validation. Yeah, we wrote it, we got result. So another thing that is interesting for us is generator. So the moment is that as only you wrote your DSL, your language, you of course want to make it working somehow related to some other languages. For example, if you have arithmetic expressions, you want maybe to evaluate them somehow. For example, in Java. Okay, it can be also in different languages. So you take your ST and interpret it such a way that it would generate Java code. Maybe you have state machine, so where you have transitions and states, and you want to go over the states. And this is what you also can do. You just traverse ST that represents your state machine, and generate, for example, C++ code that also gives you new states, depends on which transition symbol you enter. So, and in our case, as we have mini logo example, and it's something with drawing, we want to draw something. So, and I propose you to generate some TypeScript code with canvas that really draw something. So, how does it work? Basically, you have you describe some command line instruction with a commander, for example. And then you call some functions that called generate mini logo commands. In our case, it takes our top node of our ST and starts to interpret it. In our case, we start to interpret it like generation of statements, and you can see that we pass here a property of model statements. And then, step by step, traversing over our ST. So remember our semantic model. So you can generate everything with your necessary code. And finally, you get this. So this is mini logo again. On the left side, you can see a program in mini logo. It has function Langium, and step by step it moves your pen, and you have this wonderful Langium logo. So as an alternative, we can take a look at already a program that we really love, so Square. What it does. So you have already again this function that's called Square, and then you called big square. So this is what draw us a frame. So I show it again. This frame, white frame. And then we start to draw all these squares. So you can see that step by step we call drawing on some small squares. And we can also set up color. And it looks like wonderful, I think. So that ends of the demo. If you want to take a look at Langium implementation, you can use QR code. Or just go on Langium GitHub organization, and you can take a look. And we can continue. So, as a result, keynotes, what's the most important about Langium? Langium is low barrier to entry, it's lean and customizable, and it's flexible deployment. So, and for the case if you want to give it a try, you can do it very easily with Wizard. So we have a generator. You need to call install Langium generator, and then start it. Answering 3 simple questions, you already have your first program. And for the case if you don't want to install Langium but want to try, so we can provide you playground. It's working in Langium website. and it looks like two tabs. In first tab, you can define your grammar, and in second tab, you can already try what is the result of your grammar. Yeah? So here we have simple hello world grammar, and here we can type something in our language. So core code and playground. Currently, we have 0.5 release and continue our work. And also, I propose you to visit our dev meetings. They happen every Wednesday at 6, or at 16 hours. Yeah, thank you for your attention. Okay, I want to also announce that at 2 today, we give a T-shirt with Langium logo. So, okay, questions?
Is it planned or is it already possible to build a language on top of the syntax of another language? For example, if we have a Java space and I want to use some features of it or at all and just extend it.
So that means that you already have your implemented language, for example, with other tools, yeah?
Yeah, Java, for example.
So it depends on your situation. So in general, it's not really, we don't provide concrete things, how we can, combine it with Langium. But we are thinking how to make more simpler migration from Xtext generator languages to Langium. So. More questions? Yeah.
I have a question regarding the Workspace services you offer. So if I understand correctly, you are able to update multiple files.
Yeah.
So how should you, when happens the synchronization? So is it, for example, on save? And how do you handle your commands? They can unredo and things like that.
So it's working all with language server. So basically, when you have your one file, and change something. Okay, you, of course, not able to change some files in the same moment. So it's anyway sequentially. So, and it's only you changed something in your one concrete open file, it notifies language server that, okay, hey, here something changed. And our Workspace implementation notify also another file that depends on your initial file. And make all validations and so on. And if something goes wrong in another files after your initial change, it notifies you. So.
And this happens on save or when I immediately type something?
When you type something.
Regarding the reader, by the way, that's completely implemented by the IDE and not by the IDE. You don't have to worry about that.
More questions? Okay. Thank you for your attention, and I remind you that you can get your Langium T-shirt today at 2 in our booth, in the second floor. Thank you.